So, anyone who might have noticed the last video that went up, that wasn't really supposed to be the first video I was putting up, but on top of having a ton of tech issues, and finally getting that one done, I wanted to actually have this video up first, but someone brought a sickness into the house. No idea what it was. Part of it felt like a really nasty flu, but I also got ulcers all over my throat to the point of I couldn't even swallow, let alone speak. So couldn't really do any videos. Still probably sound off now because I'm still not 100%. And hopefully I can get through this, because this is actually about the 5th time I've done it. I actually think the first time I recorded it was fine, but then when I checked back, I was a little quiet because of feeling like crap. So I've changed the game as well, because it turns out maybe GoldenEye was a mistake. But anyway, there's going to be a lot in this video, and because of the fact that I'm ADHD to fuck and don't script these and record these live and try to play games whilst doing them and basically distracting myself in so many different ways, it's probably going to be a bit of a chaotic video to say the least. So I'm going to start with the housekeeping of the channel name is now Sky Fellowship. I used to obviously go by Demon212. I still have that handle on a couple of consoles, but like with a lot of things in life, things change and went with that. So I guess I'll go by Sky on here, just for ease. Like, I might still call myself Sky Fellowship or something, but you don't really need to worry about all of that. Just if in doubt, Sky. And if you still prefer to say Demon, then say Demon. I don't really care. It's one of those things, but the channel, not just the name has changed, what the channel is changed. So when I first started YouTube, it was always as a hobby to help people, and it was never about monetization. Still going to be the same thing, but how I'm helping people is different, because to kind of like brag about myself just a little bit, because I was doing some cool stuff. I beat IGN a few times. I had 6 videos at one point in the top 100 and 5 in the top 20. I actually had some decent stuff on YouTube, and basically what happened was, when I started the channel, no one was really covering classic games, at least not in the way that I ended up covering them, and no one was covering indie games. And as the channel grew, I started to do more mainstream stuff, and yeah, it was always about helping people get information that you couldn't really find elsewhere. That is literally what started my channel. I looked day after day after day when the Virtual Console came out for modern day footage, or footage of how these games ran on the Virtual Console, and some reviews and stuff like that, and there wasn't any. So I'm like, well, if I'm at the point of constantly looking for this and no one's doing it, maybe that means there's a need for it. So now that I'm coming back to YouTube, as much as I used to do reviews, and I might still do some reviews, I've got ideas for that, I'll get to that in a minute. For the most part, I don't want to just do what I was doing, because it's not so much about being a trendsetter, but I was doing something no one else was, so now that I've came back, I don't want to just continue doing that, because so many people do that, and there's a lot of people who do it better than I ever did, and I'm glad with that. There's people who I actually know, who spoke to me, who went off and created really, really big YouTube channels, who were like, oh my god, I used to watch your videos, you kind of got us started. So yeah, like, I know for a fact I actually had an impact, and I want to do something different this time, but also still try to have an impact, because the reason I quit YouTube, on top of having a lot of mental health issues and physical health issues, and just everything was going wrong in life, to say the least, we were at a point in society where you couldn't really discuss those things, because people were like, oh, stop complaining or stop mourning, or everyone deals with stuff like that. And now we finally got to the point where we've realised, hey, maybe it is actually important to talk about mental health and talk about experiences and talk about all of the trauma that people grew up with, so that people can actually resonate. So the idea for this channel, it's not all going to be like dark trauma, depressing stuff. First up, I think that wouldn't be good for me, let alone for you. As much as my goal has always been to help people, and if I only help one person, then it's been a success, I can't think of something worse than just doing nothing but depressing trauma dumping story after trauma dumping story to drive a channel. I think it would be awful. But the idea is going to be video game story time with Sky Fellowship, because from listening to a lot of podcasts and talking to a lot of people, we all use games in different ways, and some of us use them to grieve, like to get through a loved one dying, or a pet, or anything at all where you grieve. There's more than just death for grieving. There's people who use video games to deal with mental illnesses, to deal with physical illnesses, to deal with being suddenly waking up one day and being disabled. And as much as people might be sitting there thinking that doesn't happen, yeah, it does. Like, it literally does. Like, there's a YouTuber, I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but there's a YouTuber I know who one day woke up and recorded a video and was like, hi, half my face is paralyzed now, so yeah, that's my life. Yeah. That shit does happen. So anyway, I'm going to have what are hopefully going to be stories that will help people, maybe people who've experienced stuff. I grew up in an awful family, the house with a lot of trauma and abuse. I've had near-death experiences from cars hitting me. Like, there's some nasty stuff to cover, and I will always do my best to do trigger warnings when that's applicable, but for the most part, I'm going to have videos like that, and I'm also going to have videos where I'm just hyperfixating on about what I love about the game and how it really helped me, and just things that I do love about it and things that I want to praise about it, because there's so much negativity in the world, especially when it comes to video games, and I'd love to actually add some more positivity out there. And then the reviews, I'll probably still review stuff that I really love, but I'm also thinking, and again, because I never want to make money out of it's never the goal. If someone's sitting there thinking what I'm about to say, it could make a channel out of it, go for it. Like, you have my permission, because I do actually think you could make a channel out of this. There's one of the most infamous memes online is about IGN making every game a 7. Just look at all of their 7s, pick one of them and start re-reviewing their 7s. Now, obviously, games reviews, I never used to do scores on mine for a reason, because it's all anyone ever focused on, and oh my word, did that get proven so much with this whole IGN meme. The fact that people look and it's just like, oh, get another 7, get another 7. Well, it's a 7, but it's by 4 different people who played different games with different experiences. Like, genuinely, people don't understand what a review is. I'm adamant of that, and I've always been adamant of that. And I don't say that from a egotistical, my reviews are better than anyone else's or anything like that. I say it from the amount of times that I know my reviews would piss people off because I didn't put the score, because that's the only thing they would fixate on, so I was depriving them of that. And that's then, I think, when weird crazes like the first came up as well, so I used to just remove comments of people who did first, because why? Anyway, ranting and raving, this is going to be how most videos go on. But so I'm going to have, sorry, but to get back to the topic, I'm going to have videos like that. I honestly thought I chose a 5-set match, so that would actually last while I was talking. I guess I'll just set this up again. I'm going to have videos where I talk about the stories, as I say, and about what things did, like how they impacted me. I'm going to have how they helped me get through some dark times. I'm going to have, I'll go for Birdo, and I'm going to have some reviews, and I might do some other stuff as well. Like, literally the last video I uploaded was helping people get into games. Even though that video is kind of every idea that I had in one because of all the tech issues I had, I still think there's some ways that I can do with that. And it would be nice if just, I'll see it once a month, because again, there is a real reason that I quit this, and there's a real reason I'm coming back. But if I could target one decently length video a month, versus when I used to put up like 24 videos in 24 hours for silly things like that, then one video a month would be great. If I could get it to one video a week, then that would be even better. But I'm also now going to get to the point of the video where I need to say some stuff about my own personal life. So, as you might have figured from the fact that I've talked about trauma, abuse, stuff like that, I've got CPTSD, for one thing, so complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I've had a lot of mental health issues and stuff like that, but I've also been through a lot of exploration, shall I put it. I am the person that is never going to shy away from telling you stuff about myself, because quite frankly, I am me, and if you don't like me for me, then I don't care. Like, that's kind of how life should work. If you just don't like a person, then just don't interact with them. If you're the kind of person who gets pissed off about pronouns in videos, boy do I have some news for you. I'm non-binary and I'm queer. All of that, like, I'd known my entire life but I didn't have a lot of the words at the time, and when I actually quit YouTube, some of it was so that I could actually figure out who the fuck I am, essentially. And it's not something that's going to get brought up in every single video. It's not going to be something where I go on rants about anything. I see that. I might end up going on rants about some things, because I mean, we're literally living through a rise of fascism at the moment, and it's a scary time being queer, it's a scary time being trans, and it's even worse is the fact that, like, there's a franchise that I'm not even going to name out there that people have decided, you know what, I like this franchise more than I like people's rights to live. And it sucks. But there's going to be moments where I might piss you off if you don't like people like me. And that's fine. You don't have to like people like me. You genuinely don't. You don't have to stay subscribed. You don't have to comment. You don't have to interact. But I'm always going to be me. And if I'm playing a game like Baldur's Gate, on which I plan to do, Baldur's Gate obviously has a hell of a lot of queerness in it for a reason, and I'm going to be bringing stuff like that up. So this is like your out, this is your leave now and never come back type thing. So yeah, I think I've kind of covered everything I really need to cover. Explanation of what the new channel is, why I'm coming back, what the plan is, why I sound like absolute shit at the moment. And this is going to be a hilarious video to keep up as kind of the channel intro as well, because eventually all of this is going to age badly, like my throat will hopefully heal up. But at the same time, I also know I get sick so many times that maybe it's a good idea for this to be the video that people first get introduced to, because they'll be like, oh, well, at least I know what to expect from them. Because yeah, my throat is usually fucked. So anyway. Also, as you might have noticed, I swear a hell of a lot as well, so yeah, like, I'm going to mention stuff that YouTube would usually demonetize a channel for, because I don't care about money. It's fun how that works. Yeah, and there's probably other things that I'll end up doing as well. Like, now that I've got to this point where I just want to do this for the fun of it again and not box myself in and constrain myself, how I expanded last time was a case of I just covered other systems. Now it's like, oh, well, if I've got an idea for something else, I'll just do it on the channel. So I might end up coming up with other things to do. I might end, like, I'm not saying this because maybe I'm not the right person, but like, this was just the weird idea that just popped in my head, discussing video game soundtracks. Like, I don't think I will, so if you're sitting there going, oh my god, this is something that I apologise, that really is just like a wild example I wanted to come out with, just something different to what I'd said here. But that's what I mean. If something suddenly crops up, if suddenly an idea about video gaming crops up, I might explore it and go, you know what, I'm going to start doing a 10 game video series about this or something, you know, 10 video series about that, you know what I'm saying. So with that, I think I have finally covered everything, even with some trademark waffle, because trust me, the waffling has never left, and I at least understand more now why it happens. I think it's definitely part of the ADHD and the autism, just getting derailed and going off on tangents and stuff like that. So yeah. But anyway, until the next time, this has been Sky, or Sky Fellowship, and yeah, the next video you should see is probably going to be Ocarina of Time. And it's probably going to be an explanation around my near-death thing, because my actual review of Ocarina of Time does go into that, and this is ultimately, when I was covering stuff like that, I had a couple of comments years ago of people saying, I wish more people did this, and I got that, and I wanted to do this then, but I also at the same time could read the room, and I was like, you know what, society isn't ready for this sort of content yet. I think society's finally ready for it, and I'm actually excited and looking forward to what I'm going to do, and hopefully there's enough people who are either watching this for the first time and have never seen me before, well, obviously never seen me, but you know what I mean, never seen one of my videos before, or hopefully there's enough people who actually have stayed subscribed and are like, you know what, I'm here for this, because I am genuinely happy about doing this and excited for it, so yeah. Right then, until next time, this has been Sky Fellowship, and I really hope if you have been subscribed for a while, and you do continue staying here and that, I hope life has been better to you than it has been to me, and if not, I'm going to want to hear from you, because that's the other thing, and that's the thing, I never got around to doing it on any of the takes I've done of this video. This isn't just about me. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I definitely want people to join in. I would love it if when I put something up, people could go, you know what, I actually have a story about how this game helped me at a dark time, or I have a story I want to share. I would love to get that form of interaction, and even if, and again, this is it might happen, it might not happen, but just something that came off the top of my head here. Doing, you know how people do Q&A videos? Well, if instead it would be like fan submission, I guess, where I just read out a bunch of people's stories. So I could go like, okay, these are 2 or 3 stories I got on this video. These are 2 or 3 stories I got on this video, and go, you know, like something like that. I think thinking about it right now would actually be quite cool. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to end now because otherwise I will get to the point where I'll come up with 4 other different ideas before I've even finished, and this video turns into a oh my god, just please stop talking moment, because I'm getting that way with myself, let alone with other people. But the other good thing is, not that I might even be understandable, 2 times speed exists now on YouTube. It's brilliant. Like I never, yeah. So hopefully I'm audible if you're listening to this on 2 times speed, and if not, I guess you will have to drop back down to 1 time speed, which I know is a sacrifice as someone who has to do 2 times for like everything. Anyway, bye.